Rollins in the building. What's up? What's up, Dr. Chris? Any thoughts on Puff's arrest? Can you briefly talk about the possible similar psychological motivation between Puff and McMahon regarding their similar criminal charges? Man, see, stuff like that, questions like that light me all the way up, man. I love addressing stuff like this. Stuff like this is, if I had time, I would do a YouTube. Like I would do much more content on PNP. Thank you all. I'm growing subs by the day, which is fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So much for that. But if I had more time, I would do stuff just like this. So, man, there's just so much I want to address with this that I just don't have the time to do. Let's just say this. When it comes to egocentric behavior that's based on that's foundation upon insecurities that stem from oftentimes childhood neglect, abandonment, or abuse. Power, money, sex become it becomes a cocktail of atoning for foundational insecurity. So what you do is you mask those abandonment issues or insecure issues by having a unhealthy sense of power over people, because that's a control that's satisfying, but it's also insatiable too. But that's the type of control that people have when they're dealing with those type of really internal issues that have been untreated mostly. So it becomes a really difficult thing to quench or curb, because the more people you start to have that psychological grip on, the more that you start to feel empowered. And that's a very it's a very unhealthy way to feed that insecurity, abandonment issues that stem from childhood issues oftentimes. And we saw that with Vince, as far as his father not being there and him not having a relationship with his father until becoming an adult, basically, from a business standpoint. So there's a lot of childhood stuff that we've seen in Vince's documentaries that just fits right into what I'm saying. As far as Diddy's issues, you can definitely tell that there's something there. Dare I say, I don't know this. This is I'm just throwing this out there clinically. Usually someone like that has been verbally or physically abused by someone, by an adult as a child. Usually is that type of dynamic, unfortunately, either verbal or emotional, physical, oftentimes abuse. I don't know. The more I dig, the more I could find out if he was a victim of sexual abuse or physical abuse. But usually that dynamic happens when someone is abused. So they're trying to, since they were the abused, they try to displace or try to atone for those feelings of feeling violated and abused with manipulating others and having that way of trying to get a little bit of that violation back, that power back. It's a very unhealthy way of addressing it. Intervention, divine intervention, therapy, those are very important ways to, from a psychodynamic standpoint, address those issues that you were dealing with as a kid. That's formed schemas as you become an adult. Always tell people how you viewed the world as a child. It means how the experiences that you had as a child affects your world view as an adult. So typically when we see this type of power dynamic, this insatiable power, money, sex dynamic that Vince McMahon allegedly experienced, all those things with the Janelle Grant, with the, with all the other cases, with of course the money, what I mean, with the cutthroat Machiavellian type of mentality of getting growing wealth, and then sex, and power, and by any means necessary to get there, again, Machiavellian. So yeah, man, there's so much there. I hope that helped a little bit, but I can go so much more into that from a psychological standpoint. Great question, Robin.